It is Friday, March 19th. I'm Geoff Schwartz. It's actually Thursday, March 19th, Matt. We're doing a different day. Geoff
Hell
Schwartz,
yeah.
Matt Ford, Geoff Schwartz, smarter than you. Good start to the show. Can't even get the day right. But it's Thursday. It is 1 hour before March Madness begins. And we'll maybe throw some wagers your way, Matt, as we go through here. We're here to talk the NFL, and we're going to continue our exercise that we started last week. We go over all the win totals for the NFL teams basically after free agency has ended, right? The guys are signing now, Matt, are second and third wave guys you're texting me about. Backup offensive linemen, the Commanders are signing, but that's where we are right now.
I was doing that before.
in the whole cycle of NFL free agency, and a big couple of weeks for some college basketball too. So we will talk all of it. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I mean, but when we get off the air here, if anyone's watching us live, it's about an hour before the first tip. You got any plays today? I don't know if you noticed, I was looking down as you were doing the intro. It's because I was literally depositing on my DraftKings predictions app.
Yeah.
So
okay. So if we're doing this today, and I'll give you, I guess, at the end of the show, my wagers for tomorrow. So today I like Louisville -4. So that number's come way down. Their best player, who can be hot or cold, Brown, is not playing. But they've been okay without him this season. It's more, Matt, that the numbers move so much, and everyone's on South Florida today. Like they're the number one underdog ticket right now. I got a better number on Louisville. Sign me up for that. I like the under in the first game today, 146.5. The game starts right at 12:15. And it's interesting because they really don't play a lot of games during the day in March Madness. A lot of them happen there's only a game at like 12:15, 12:45, 1:45. They happen later in the day. So you do have time if you're listening to this to get these. And I also like Wisconsin -10.5. Again, this is like everyone's on high point. Everyone's upset pick is high point. Matt, I've also made some wagers that I don't know if you can get in. You might still be able to get him in, but I laid -200 on under 1.5 teams that are seeded 13 through 16 to have a win in the first round.
Yeah, smart.
I just don't think there's going to be a lot of upsets in this tournament. I mean, the numbers right now are huge, right? And there's a lot of reasons for that. NIL has made a lot of difference, right? If you're good at a mid-major for 1 year, the next year, like if you have a good tournament year, the next year you move up to a power conference team, right? But also, too, there are a lot of upsets in the mid-major. So the better teams of these conferences aren't playing in these games. So you have the second or third or fourth or sixth place team in the conference playing these games. So, that's I like Idaho under 24.5 points for the first half today against Houston in the latest game of the day. So that's what I like now. I'll have some bets at the end of the show. I will give you, Matt, before we get to football, one very funny wager. Funny, I don't, whatever word you want to use. So you got to dabble on the women's college basketball side. UConn, number one seed in the country, is playing UTSA, Conference USA, University of Texas, San Antonio. And
should be an even matchup.
And they're favored by 54.5. Okay.
Yeah.
UTSA is sixth in Conference USA. So not even like the best team in Conference USA. They won their tournament. They got in. They fared by 54.5, Matt. I want you to guess the UTSA team total for this game. I think it's Friday at noon. UConn, UTSA. The team total. How many points will UTSA score in this game according to DraftKings?
31.5.
34.5. I might bet the over, right? Like,
gotta bet the over. That was my cap right there.
You have to, right? You have to bet the over, right? Like, I bet 51.5 and it got to 56.5 and settled 54.5. I mean, UConn's gonna win this game 105-40. Like, I can't get 35 points in this game. 35 points. That's
I
less
look
than
forward
a point a minute.
to the texts at like 9:40 Pacific tomorrow. It's like, whoa, UTSA can't make a layup. Their shoes wide open.
I did make 3 women's college basketball wagers. If anyone wants to tail me, I did the UConn wager, Michigan -41.5, and I took Murray State +30.5 against Maryland. You're Maryland Terps. Young Maryland team, Murray State scores like 100 points a game. That's going to be closer than 30.5 points. So a lot of fun there.
Sounds like a bad bet to me.
Probably Maryland, the 5 seed. Our men's teams are not in the tournament, buddy. Who?
No,
they are no. Both. We were joking last week. This was when did the game happen before or after we were texting last week?
You informed me on the air that they were playing each other, and then I found out Maryland did in fact win and texted you. I think my direct quote was "eat shit."
Oregon was down 33-12 at the half against Maryland in a 17-18 Big Ten tournament game. All right, Matt. Let's get to football at hand. There is not much news, but there is news with the team that we're going to start with here for our over-unders.
Yeah, well, I guess are we starting with Minnesota? Is that where we left off
Yes, so
here?
we left off. We left off with
Well,
Miami, who I said the Malik Willis thing didn't make any sense. Can I do one thing too, Matt, before we get going here?
yeah,
Uh,
I want to talk about Miami again with the Waddle thing. So go
okay,
ahead.
so we can start with Miami then. Come on. I am getting just very frustrated with NFL media that's on TV because they never say anything bad about anyone. Like when you listen to them talk, it's always that they're like the best and they have ability. Well, guess what's the NFL? We all have ability. It's why we're in the NFL. Like, give me like it's okay to say, you know what? I don't really like that signing. I don't think that player is any good. Now I get you don't want to do it. You're on TV. You're going to hear from that agent, hear from that player. But man, like whenever I tweet something about a player, like I don't think that player is going to be very good. I get well, so and so on TV said they liked them. It's just frustrating, dude. Like
Mm.
I don't they never say anything bad about anybody. Why would their opinion matter more than mine? Because they're on TV? I mean, I guess sure they have a better job than I do, but I at least can say a player I don't think is going to be, and I've been wrong before. I've been wrong plenty of times, but to just as we enter draft season and free agency season and preview season, everyone on TV just talk about everyone is good. Everyone's good. Everyone's good. Everyone's good. I can't take it, man.
Yep, it's probably not going to change anytime soon because of the agent industrial complex. But I agree. But I think sometimes the way to read what people really think is how effusive they are. Like it's been interesting the reaction. Let's switch to this Jalen Waddle thing that happens. We left off at Miami. We were both not in love with them even at their win total at 4.5. That's what it is now. I think that's what it was then. Um, yeah, so they moved Jalen Waddle to Denver. They got a first round pick back, so good for them. But I'm curious what you thought of this move, both for Denver and for Miami, because I think it was a little bit of a surprise.
Well, Denver was trying to get a wide receiver, I think, for a little bit of time, right? And they ended up with Waddle here. I think they gave him a first round pick for Waddle.
Yeah.
I love what the Dolphins are doing, except the Malik Willis signing makes no sense. Like out of everything they're doing, then you sign Malik Willis. I get it. It's not an expensive contract. That's not the point, guys. Okay. When I say I don't like what they're doing by signing Malik Willis, here, I'll tell you why I don't like it, okay? So, first of all, they've got rid of everyone he could ever throw the ball to. And Achan's probably going to get traded too. I think if they get a good deal for him, he's gone too. So there's no one to throw to, and an offensive line that's average at best, right? Like it's just not a good situation for him. So you're trying to sort of be bad, and I get it. New general manager, new head coach, you clear out everyone that was signed on previous contracts. It happens at every single team all the time, Matt. Right? All the time. So what they're doing is nothing different than anyone else has ever done, but they're just getting rid of all the guys they didn't sign because they know they have to be bad. We got 12 draft picks or 13 draft picks. Let's draft our new team. I love that part of it, right? But I don't love the Malik Willis sign because guess what, Matt? What if you go 7-10 this season? All right, if you're Miami and you win 5 of the 7 50-50 games that you play. And maybe Malik Willis plays well, maybe he doesn't. But now you're 7-10. And now you're picking what would 7-10 get you? 14?
Yeah.
14-ish?
10 to 14.
Right? 14. So now you don't get to determine the quarterback that you want, right? Like you don't get to do that. 7-10 would put you actually funny where the Miami was at this year. It put you where the Cowboys, it'd be 10 to 13, right? And or let's say you go 8-9 for some reason. So you don't get to choose a quarterback that you get number one overall, but maybe Malik Willis does enough to convince you he's a quarterback of the future, which is absolutely not going to be, Matt. And you end up signing him to a long-term contract, or don't draft a quarterback. And like to me, you want to take that out of the equation. If they think Malik Willis is going to be their long-term answer, again, outlier of all outliers. This would be an unprecedented career path for a quarterback to make. I can't think of one comp. I'm sure that we'll have someone that thinks of a better Matt. There's not one comp I can think of that would be Malik Willis's success in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. When you phrase it that way, it's hard to argue. Yeah, I mean, look, it's possible, but I think they're sort of doing two things at once. They're saying, hey, this is our quarterback of the future, but let's also like tear down the entire team. So it doesn't matter if he wins or not right away. Like, it doesn't really make sense what they're signaling sort of overall. I agree. If you're going to do a tear down, by all means. But I don't know if Willis is sort of the focal point of an effective teardown. If he is, then you probably shouldn't have bet on him in the first place. The thing on the Denver side, Denver just Denver, I feel could be falling into the trap that my team, the Washington Commanders, did last year, where they just say like, yeah, Bo Nix was healthy. We're probably in the Super Bowl, right? So what else could, so we're there. We don't have to do anything. And I guess, good for them to get Waddle and, I guess like maybe he's that difference maker. We'll see. He sort of hasn't been one in a few years, but I just feel like Denver thinks that they don't need to do anything. They can just stand pat and it's all going to fall their way again. We talked last week about how many 50-50 games they won. They swept the Chiefs. Like that's not going to happen again, you would think. So good for them for getting the other wide receiver that they definitely did need. I'm just not sure that they're going to be as good as they were this past year. I'm not sure that they have, they're as close as they think they
Yeah.
are.
So I'm sure you might remember the number, but off the top of your head, do you know how many one-score wins the Broncos had last season?
Weren't they like 10-2 or something?
They had 11.
Wow. Yeah,
11.
I mean, that's crazy. Like that's
So
not going to happen 2 years in a
so
row.
they were 11-2 in the regular season in one-score games.
Yeah, they other than Knicks obviously in the championship game that was devastating, but they were pretty healthy. Like they bring back Dobbins. It's like okay, like is he gonna last a full season? Like I don't know, man. We'll see, but I guess the move makes sense when you like talk about why they did it, but to shove all in on Jalen Waddle, we'll see. Okay, let's move on to our win totals here. We've got a few left, about a little less than half. Let's start with the Vikings, who, in the meantime, since we recorded our last show, have signed Kyler Murray. Their win total is 8.5, split pretty evenly here on the money on each side. I think I would lean over, but I feel like it's too early to make a judgment call on this one.
So the thing I find most interesting about the Kyler Murray decision is two things. So one is that we talked earlier about people being so positive about everything in the NFL this time of year. When I hear people say, "Well, this is a good sign for Minnesota. It's going to go well for Kyler Murray," it's almost nothing about Kyler Murray. It's all about Kevin O'Connell
Yep.
and about the offensive line, the run game. Josh Jefferson. Like I don't ever hear anything like, "Oh, well, Kyler Murray fits the offense because he does this, this, and this." It's more, like it's interesting, right? Like normally you would hear sort of, well, is this skill set fit? It doesn't. His skill set doesn't really fit this offense. But the thing about it, Matt, is that this offense, this Shanahan McVay offense, fits everybody, right? It's a great offense for any quarterback, and so I think Murray does play well. And here's the thing that's really interesting about this. So, people will tell you that this is an open competition, right, between JJ McCarthy and Kyler Murray. Okay, Matt. If you're at practice, first day of OTAs, you're on the field, or for third week, whatever it is, and these two guys are playing. There's 8 reps with the ones. McCarthy gets 4, Kyler gets 4. Who do you think is better in the first practice?
Yeah, probably Kyler.
Who's better in the fourth practice?
Yeah.
In the 17th practice?
Correct.
And the 23rd practice? Like, Murray's a better quarterback. So either you have to just give him the job or give it to McCarthy and give McCarthy the reps to try to get him better than Kyler Murray. And this sort of backwards way of doing it, I don't like it. I get, look, I don't like splitting reps with the ones because as a player who's obviously been in those huddles, but like you need all the reps with the one quarterback. You need to hear the cadence. You need to hear the adjustments. You need to work with that quarterback. And switching those reps doesn't really help anybody out. You don't get used to the wide receivers and the running backs and the defense, all those things. Like, what if you have a blitz of the day that you're working against and you only run it on the third play of that period, right? And the third play of that period is Kyler Murray. And McCarthy doesn't get that rep with the ones. With that, like it's a lot of more work to like make sure everyone gets equal amount of stuff. But Murray's better than McCarthy. And this is another point I've made a lot with the Colts specifically, is that you drafted a quarterback who needs reps to get better, and you're not giving him the reps to get better. Now, part of that is he might suck, Matt, and that's certainly fair to say. But the fact is, when you draft a guy who needs the reps, if you don't give him the reps, he's not going to get better. It's impossible to get better if he doesn't get the reps to get better. So it sounds like McCarthy. It's going to be the job of Murray's, in my opinion. I think he's the better quarterback, and yeah, I think Minnesota's probably properly scaled right now with their win total.
That's a really interesting point all the way around about McCarthy. I feel like I learned something here. I do think Kyler's going to be good for them, and I gotta admit I forgot what the Vikings record was last year. Do you remember what the Vikings record was?
They had 9 wins last year, right?
They had 9 wins, so
Yeah.
I don't think they got worse. And they have a pretty light, they don't have a bad schedule. They play the NFC South and the AFC East. So yeah, I think I would lean to the over here, but they still have some work to do. I feel like a couple of their pieces have either aged out or moved on. They made some changes on the defense, but they kept Brian Flores and they kept Kevin O'Connell, so that's a good start. All right, moving on to one of your former teams. Or no, wait, sorry, I skipped 2 teams. The New England Patriots, the Super Bowl runner-ups, their win total is only 9.5, and I find that to be pretty interesting, pretty eye-popping. Which side are you on for the Patriots?
Oh, under or nothing.
Yeah, 100%.
The only way you have to play this.
Yep.
Have they gotten a ton better this offseason? Now, there's rumors right now that AJ Brown, I think, ends up there eventually, which will be good for them. But they give Romeo Doubs a lot of money, like a lot.
Yeah,
I like the Elijah Vera Tucker signing, but they're not like markedly better than they were last year, in my opinion. And they sort of just had everything go right for them last season. That's why we faded them in the Super Bowl.
yeah. I mean, when Vegas hangs numbers like these, you got to pay attention, and it happens every once in a while where you look at these win totals and you're like, what? Like the Patriots, how would they go down to 9.5? Like that's crazy. And what they're saying is, no, it should actually probably even be lower. That's usually what that means. And they're still they're taking money on the over. I think that DraftKings is begging you to bet the over and assume that the Patriots all will be well this year. We know what happens with the teams that don't win the Super Bowl. We've seen all the things that can go wrong with the Patriots. They don't have a high draft pick to add anything to either their offensive line or playmakers. Like losing Stephon Diggs, probably not a big deal. Romeo Doubs, nice player, but I'm not sure that they're going to end up with AJ Brown like the internet seems to think. So I think they have some work to do on offense. I would lean under here, but it is possible that Vrabel can work a miracle. But I do find this number to be pretty interesting.
They're telling you to take the under.
Yes, 100%. This one surprised me. The Saints are at 7.5. Don't need to spend a ton of time on the Saints, probably. Everyone loves Tyler Shuck, I guess, huh?
He seemed to play well last year. Look, to be honest with you, I did not watch a lot of Saints football last season.
I don't think anyone did.
I don't feel like I'm qualified quite yet to tell you like how I feel about them, other than I think Shuck, from what I saw, played well. They bring back most of their team from last season. I think Kellen Moore is a good coach. I mean, it feels like this is probably a good team-ish next year, but I'm not wagering any dollars on that. And also, remember, this division is not very good. That's why this division's all at 7.5 wins, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I feel like Shuck, he over delivered on expectations, so people are forever going to be impressed with him. But hey, maybe 7.5 is possible. I do not have a great angle on the Saints. I do have some opinions about finally one of your former teams, the New York Giants. Their total is at 7.5, and I think people are surprised it's not higher. Having said that, minus 125 to bet the under, so that is where the money is going. What do you think of this number for the Giants?
What's your thought? I think you feel strongly on this one.
Well, I'm sort of split. Like, I think they're going to be way better, but I still am not convinced on just about anything that they have other than their defensive line. Like, I think Harbaugh will certainly make them improved. I think they will just be a tougher team to play. But they did a lot of moving around in free agency and stuff, but I don't feel like they've drastically changed their team. They've sort of like shuffled the deck chairs a bit. Um, for example, like they don't bring back Okereke, but they bring in Tremaine Edmonds, and it's like okay, like is that way better? I'm not sure. Um, they have a high draft pick that could make a difference. If they were to pick another great receiver, if they were to maybe get another offensive lineman to sort of match what they have in Andrew Thomas, like that'd be great. But I don't see it. Eight
Yeah.
wins for this team, I think would be a little bit surprising. But it is Harbaugh, and I think the improvement from just adding a competent coaching staff will be meaningful. But I'm not convinced.
So, uh, are we sure like Harbaugh still has it?
Love this take. Let's hear it.
I mean, his team's kind of underachieved at the end,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, they were good in 24, but did the playoffs just then last year just I know there was injuries to Lamar, I get that, but it did feel like at times, and he won a ton of games in Baltimore. Look, his last 4 years, 10, 13, 12, and 9, and excuse me, 8. Like a lot of wins, okay? Like that, there's no doubt about it. But it just does feel like his teams never reach their full potential, whatever that potential is, whether that's in the playoffs, the regular season, game by game. Maybe he's renewed in New York, and that's certainly fair to say. But his team is not better than it was in Baltimore as of right now.
No.
They have a great defensive line. I think their offensive line's not as bad as people want to make it out to be. The wide receiving core is fine. The running backs are fine. I just don't to me, Cam Scadaboo's not a number one guy. Trace is not either. They're like one Bs or twos. Likely and doesn't do much for me at that position. Dart, I think, is really good or can be really good, but he's got to stop getting concussed, which will be important, right? So he's got to stop getting hurt. I just the Giants feel like just a stay away team for much of anything this year until we know what they are.
Yeah. What would you do if you had to pick fifth? Like, we're not going to
Yeah.
go through the
Okay.
first
So this
four.
is this is
What
where
would
I
you do?
think this is why I'm of the best player available philosophy for the most part. And if you're at 5, and let's just say that the latest Daniel Jeremiah mock draft, I'll just use Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft. I think it had, off the top of my head, it was obviously Mendoza, David Bailey, number 2 to the Jets. And then it was, I think, Francis 3. Here, I have it right here. Francis 3, Jeremiah Love, and then Sonny Styles at 5. I mean, if Sonny Styles is there at 5, you take him, right? I mean, like it sort of just feels like best guy. If Jeremiah Love is there at 5, I think you take Jeremiah Love because
Hmm.
right, like you saw what Derrick Henry did for you, right? Like, why would you not take Jeremiah Love?
Oh,
If
interesting.
Jeremiah Love and Styles are gone, which is certainly possible. So I mean, he has Everett Reese going 2, not David Bailey. Um, then I think you would take an offensive lineman at 5. I think you just best player available is the way to go at 5.
If the Giants take a running back with Joe Shane sitting there as the GM, that's like the ultimate cuck chair move for Joe Shane.
Oh,
If they take a running
absolutely.
back after they
He's
let
gonna
Barkley go and he
it's gonna
ate
be
it
that
for a whole year.
he's gonna have that like he's in that cuck chair shower. He's in the cuck chair
We
the
love cuck
couch.
chairs.
Um, in this mock draft, your Commanders are drafting Reuben Bain Jr.
Yeah, I don't see that one happening. I don't know. I mean, I agree. The Giants just have so many holes. I just I'm looking at all their moves that they made, and it's just sort of like, okay, like they all seem fine, but then when you put it together, you're just sort of like they really, really need some top end talent, especially on offense. I'm less sold on Dart. I think he's fine. Um, and I think the division's going to be a very tough division again. So with Washington hopefully improving. So yeah, I think that number's fair. I don't really have a feel either side yet. How about the Jets? Their total's 5.5. I was looking at this number and it felt like it screamed under, but then I did remember they kind of did have a nice sort of push at the end of the season last year. But I don't know. Do you think that they can get 6 wins or more?
I saw a tweet that is interesting here. Geno Smith was a 7-year backup quarterback who convinced everyone he's a starting caliber quarterback by going 27-22 in a team that won the Super Bowl immediately after replacing him.
Yeah,
And then he guided
that's
a
great.
team to the number 1 pick with the Raiders. And now he's the Jets starting quarterback.
That's a really great take. That's right.
Okay, here's the deal. I get Geno Smith and Aaron Glenn, who I don't think is a good coach. I'm betting the under every time.
Should this be our bet? It's only minus 105. I feel like this is a pretty safe under.
This is the one I was waiting to take, by the way. The other day we
Yeah.
talked about this. This is the one I
Let's
was
do
going
it.
to take. Jets,
This
okay.
is we're gonna lock this in. The earliest bet we're gonna make this year, the Jets under 5.5. Let's lock it.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's go.
Is there anybody who would you draft if you're them? That's an easier conversation. I mean, yes, best player available, but like, do you get the choice of pretty much anybody?
I would draft David Bailey.
Yeah, interesting.
Where's that?
I think I would too. I don't, I can't sit here and claim I know the difference really between what Reese and Bailey or whatever brings, but I do think if you find the best edge rusher, it's, if you can't get a quarterback at number 2, that's probably the right thing to do.
Here we go. I'm trying to find the wins here with the app I want, but continue going here. I'm going to find the Jets one, and here it is right here. I got it. Okay.
Yes.
New York
All right,
Jets.
It's in. The first bet of the 2026-7 season from our podcast is in. Exciting stuff. Fading Aaron Glenn. It's a tradition unlike any other here on our show.
You have to.
All right. The two-time defending NFC East champs, Philadelphia Eagles. Their win total is 10.5. A team that is seemingly in crisis, but everything seems fine all the time because they're the Eagles. What do you think about that number for Philly?
I don't love the Eagles this year. Do you?
It seems like there's so much that can go wrong with them, and they're going to collapse at some point. But
okay, I made the bet. The bet's in.
Let's go.
Okay, so no AJ Brown, presumably, right? I think he's going to be traded. You have no Stoutland offensive line coach, which is a huge deal, right, for your team. You replace basically your whole offensive staff. Here's my problem with the Eagles, with the staff. You hired a first-time play caller who's been in the NFL 2 years as a coach, Sean Mannion, to be your offense coordinator.
Yep.
And it's not like Nick Sirianni is like an offensive guru who can help. But he specifically is not an offensive guru, right? And when you have a coach who hasn't coached a lot, how good are the adjustments going to be? Which is the problem they've had for years now with Jalen Hurts, right? I don't buy it, Matt. The problem is, the Cowboys win the division, the Commanders. We'll talk about Washington in a few minutes. The Giants. I lean under more than anything else. I don't like their off. Not that I don't like their off season, but I just don't like the vibes of the team right now. They feel like a team that, I'm not saying it's going to happen. That if it goes bad, it goes like 5-12 bad.
Yeah, right. It does feel like at some point that's going to happen. I don't know.
I wonder if there's an alt number.
Train, but
would you do like an alt 7.5 or something like that?
Yeah, maybe it's that. I mean, it's just an infrastructure bet for them. Like when it's the trenches, when it's the secondary, when it's Barkley, when it's those receivers, they bring Goddard back. Like they've done some stuff I really like. Like I really liked the Woolen signing for them. I think Hollywood Brown is a fun piece for them. The thing about, like, remember Vic Fangio was around Super Bowl. Vic Fangio was like, maybe I'm going to retire. I guess I'll come back. There's something off here. It's been off for a few years. So, and I think they've just been held together by like some strong leadership from guys like Lane Johnson and stuff. But this could get ugly, and but yeah, I don't know if I want to stand in front of this train. It feels like the Eagles have been on top of the world for quite a while. In this entire Sirianni era, they've sort of exceeded expectations. So it's hard to bet against them. But yeah, I have the same vibe. I'm just not sure that they have it this year.
I agree. Let's take our first break here, Matt, and we'll get to some more wagers. All right, Matt, we're back here. More over-unders here. Maybe we've just picked the pace up a little bit here. I don't know. We have
let's do it.
The Steelers next here.
Yeah, the Steelers with no quarterback.
How can you bet
Just
this with no quarterback? They have no quarterback right now. What do you?
Yeah, this is 8.5. Why don't we save some time here? You
Yeah,
can't bet this with
no,
no quarterback or Aaron Rodgers.
no.
Why don't we talk about the Super Bowl champs? The Seahawks, 10.5 is their total. Um, Interesting number again, kind of low for a team that, just lost a few pieces, I guess. What do you think about that number and their chances for next year?
All right, so I think that they're an under team. I mean, we've been under team for everyone. Someone has to win a lot of games here, but um, the Clint Kubiak thing really worries me.
Yeah,
So
me
Clint
too.
Kubiak left the team, and this very much um, reminds me of the Lions last year,
Yes,
where you lose
great
Ben
call.
Johnson and you're just like 15% worse on offense, and that cost you 2 or 3 games, And the pushback is, well, Darnold led the league in turnovers last year. If he doesn't turn the ball over, I don't really care about turnovers ish, Matt. Like, or me led the league in interceptions. Like, interceptions happen. Like, you throw interceptions. Like, it's not that big of a deal. What are the interceptions, right? Like, what are they like? How will they look? What are they? How bad are they? I'm not worried about that. I just think the offense can be different, and they've lost some players as well. I would lean under more than anything else.
Yeah, I would too. They've just sort of like they've lost more than you realize, and I think their best thing last year was just their overall depth. Like everywhere you looked, they had, just a ton of options. Like they didn't have, DeMarcus Lawrence had a great season, but it wasn't there was no dominant one guy on the defensive line. There wasn't one dominant guy in the secondary. Even Kenneth Walker won Super Bowl MVP. Like that was a timeshare all year. They just had a million options. They were really well coached. Um, when you look at, I mentioned Kenneth Walker, like their backfield went from Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet to Emmanuel Wilson and like Charbonnet when he's healthy, which who knows when that's going to be. Um, so that's just another reason to think like, well, maybe they just won't be pitching their absolute fastball the year after the Super Bowl. It's obviously really hard to go back to back or, put two great seasons back together.
Yes.
Um, and defenses do tend to, I feel like defenses just in the recent history of the league do tend to get figured out maybe a little bit more quickly than offenses. So, I bet one of those, offensive minds in that division will figure out some way to overcome what Mike McDonald's able to bring. But I 10.5 under would probably be my play, but not dying to do it. Might be dying to bet the under on the next team here, the 49ers. 10.5 once again, a team that every year I feel down on and every year I'm wrong. This year I feel like I might be right. What
Okay.
do you think of the Niners?
What's the reasoning you're down on them this year? Sort of the talent and sort of oldness of the team.
It's so fragile, man.
It
It's every
is.
year they're just a year older. You're not going to get the same season out of McCaffrey. There's no chance. Their big signing is Mike Evans. It's like, okay, Mike Evans is your
Okay.
guy.
Okay.
Like, go ahead.
Mike Evans is a great example of the media gaslighting you. Okay, because look, guys, Mike is he's my agent has Mike Evans. Mike is great. Okay, he's probably a Hall of Famer. He's won like Walter Payton Man of the Year. Like great person, right? But he's now on the other side of 30, Matt, off a very injured year and can't run as well anymore.
Yeah,
Every wide
right.
receiver in this group has fallen off a cliff so fast in their careers. We've watched it happen with other guys. It's like it's not a surprise when it happens to Mike.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we just say that? Why can't we just say, like, everyone I see is like, man, great signing, big physical guy for Purdy. He can't move the same way anymore.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
dude, at least the 49ers keep people healthy. So, I mean, he definitely won't have any
like the
injury
memes
problems
about
there.
the hamstring stuff, like his hamstring just like falling off the bone next to the electrical substation, like they showed like a turkey leg.
Substation.
And I know that Mike Evans has been healthier, but look, to be fair, in 2024 he played 14 games where he barely got that 1,000 yards. You remember that last day of the season, like the
Of
Tampa Bay
course.
was getting those yards. Last year he played 8 games, only had 30 catches, 368 yards. He has lowest yards per reception last season, his lowest long of his career. He's not the same guy anymore. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. He's just on the other side of 30, and he was hurt a bunch last season.
Yeah. I mean, Evans is 32. McCaffrey is 29. Kittle is 32. Trent Williams is 38. Like there's just a lot of things that can go wrong. On offense, defensively, maybe they're due to actually be healthier given how bad last year was. But again, they lost another great coordinator in Salah. So I think I don't know. I just 10.5 is just betting so much on the miracle that Kyle Shanahan pulled to come back and him to do it again. I don't see it. The 49ers too have this history of ping ponging where it's like one year they're amazing, one year they're terrible. Like, and then they just sort of pop back and forth. I mentioned it last podcast, like if the Rams are kicking tires on AJ Brown, like they're going for it.
Yeah.
So I think the Rams could really run it up in this division. The Seahawks are still, we're not sure if they're winning 11 games, but they're still going to be good. Um, I don't know, man. I just don't see it with the Niners, but I say it every year and I'm always wrong. So maybe don't listen to me, but I would definitely lean strongly on
Finally,
the
we
under
finally
here.
get it under.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. Um, all right, Tampa, another tricky team to cap here. 8.5 is their total. I think this is just an NFC South comment more than the Bucks.
It feels
Um,
if they were in any other division, this would be 7.5, and you take the
yeah,
under,
no question.
right?
This team is makes me sad, man. Like what is their identity? Like I don't understand what direction they're heading. I don't understand like what there is to feel really good about. They keep aging too. I guess maybe they just think Bucky Irving and Ibuka are the future and that they can carry them to the playoffs or something. But I don't know what to do with this team.
I think you stay away from this team, and you just you just watch them. It feels like we'll see what the schedule looks like, just sort of where they map out the schedule for them. But it just feels like a team that sort of had their peak a few years ago, and then just sort of died. Like they
Yeah.
had their chance. It's just not going to get home.
Yeah, I think I agree. This feels like a team that's gonna like be tearing it down in a year. Winner, even if they make the playoffs, it's just sort of like how much longer can we go here? And I think Evans leaving is like sneaky a big deal. Like that should have been a buck for life kind of thing. But the fact that he was like, I don't see it, I'm out of here. I think it's kind of telling. Um, but we're down on everybody. Here's a team everyone's pumped about: the Tennessee Titans. Their win total is 6.5. Extremely active free agency, new coach Brian Daboll, Cam Ward. Are you feeling optimistic about the Titans next year? And God, do we have to talk about the Titans more regularly on this show? Please say no.
No, not really. This is again like there's sort of two teams that feel like what media has decided are going to be much better this year. That's the Vegas Raiders and the Titans. I trust the Vegas Raiders more with their personnel and with their coach.
Yeah,
Um, I which is kind of crazy to say. I just everyone's on Tennessee, man. I just
yeah. I would
I,
say this number is going to move up. I think this number is going to, it's at minus 140 on DraftKings to take the over. I have a feeling this will bump up to 7.5. They're gonna pick someone at what are they number 4 that everyone's gonna love. Whether that's Love himself or whether that's another receiver, or maybe they end up with an edge rusher to put next to those two great defensive tackles they have now. Like, I'm curious what they're going to do. But for people to be excited about Robert Saleh and Brian Daboll, like
I
that to me is the media doing that thing where it's just like, wait, what? Like, we're excited that Robert Saleh is bringing the band back together with a bunch of guys who he's coached before. Like, we're sure that's going to work. We're sure Wandale Robinson and Daniel Bellinger are going to be difference makers on offense. Like, we're sure that's going to happen. So I'm a little bit skeptical here, but I feel like we've been skeptical on every team. So I don't know. I'm not super excited about this team.
I feel like
Um,
we lived in skepticism. Like this is the point of it. Like if everyone team's going to be great, well, you could go to plenty of other places to find that information.
that's right. I have a question for you that I asked
Yeah.
Hank earlier this week. Um, would you rather have Ward or Mendoza if you were if you had the choice of picking one of them
Oh,
number one
jeez.
overall?
And based off their college film, you take Mendoza. I think that though that, geez, if you gave me Cam Ward and like Sean McVay paired together, I mean, it's just the physical gifts of Cam. This is the thing about the physical gifts thing, right? Like it's just like he just has he just the physical gifts are really good.
Yeah.
Um, so I would say I think I would still take Cam Ward. What would you do?
I don't know. I don't feel like I know Mendoza well enough yet, but I think winning is the thing that maybe I overvalue. And I think the way that he played this year with the target on their back all season, stepped up in big games, like I think that that should count for something. I think Ward is probably like the better player, but I think that Mendoza is like the guy I'd feel maybe more confident in just based on, like you said, like how the college, just how he performed
Yeah, yeah.
consistently. Um, I don't know. That's probably how I would lean, but I didn't watch like enough of Mendoza this year to have like a real opinion.
Mendoza, the only thing on his film that really doesn't show is like there's not a lot of Sunday throws. It's not that he can't do it, Matt. It's just that they just didn't
Mm,
ask him to do it. Like those are two separate things, right?
interesting.
They didn't ask him to do it, but he can't. It's there. It's there.
Yeah. I feel pretty sure he's going to be a competent quarterback. And I think Ward like showed flashes of it and he kept them in some games that they didn't belong in. But I'm not sure he's super well positioned to succeed. And I do think Mendoza just like, I think his confidence and I think obviously that coach in Vegas, like they have to have some good pieces around him. I'm concerned they haven't really done that. But I do think that he's just going to get off. He's going to start hot and probably like take a step forward ahead of Ward, but we'll see. Tougher division than Ward for sure.
Yes.
All right, saving my favorite team for last. Washington. I swear we don't have to spend that much time on this. Their win total is 7.5. Um, what do you think here?
I don't know what this team is, buddy. You tell me what this team is.
I mean, I think it's pretty simple. If Jaden plays 17 games, this is an extremely easy over. And if he doesn't, I doubt it would be an over at all. I think they did a lot to improve. I think their defense is their defense was, they did the thing that I am accusing Denver of potentially doing, of assuming that everything was just going to be
Yeah.
the same and maybe better the next year with little change. They tore the defense down. They're going to have like 6 new starters, all of whom are young and good. I'm a little worried about the second receiver thing until the Brandon Ayuk transaction, whenever that comes, will become official. But if Jaden plays, like, why wouldn't this be an over? Like,
You
if
would think
he's
that
one
you
of
would
those
think that
guys,
they
like,
would have a
why
little
not?
more luck, right?
I mean, yeah, they you would think like their entire team fell apart last year.
Yeah.
Um, so they still have some holes. I think I think their draft pick is going to be very interesting. Whether they continue to fortify on defense or maybe they take a receiver to put next to McLaurin. But I think the first time coordinators thing is going to be interesting for them. But I think this all comes down to Daniels. If he plays, like this team is absolutely going to be competitive.
I think that's probably correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, any other words? Any other futures you're looking at? I haven't done much of future. There's some draft stuff popping up too, which is kind of nice. We should probably get a draft props on the the extended. You extended Jeremy Reeves. Hank just sent that over. Congratulations, Commanders.
Wow. Very useful data point there.
Are you an Orioles fan or a Nationals fan?
I I'm I don't know. I'll root for both of them, I guess, but I don't even know if I'm doing that based on where I live now. So
You mean become a Dodgers fan? You're gonna be a trader?
no, I don't. Like maybe there. I have no like problem with the Dodgers because
Well, I
it's
do.
like
I
they
hate
grew
them.
up. Well,
I
I
mean,
know you do.
yeah,
Um,
it'd be betrayal.
yeah, I don't know. Okay, I don't care about the Fanatics award, the Fanatics flag football game that Hank just texted us about. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna let my son pick a baseball
Eh,
team, but I don't care really. I root for both the Orioles and the Nationals.
As a as a as a loyal employee, you guys should all watch the inaugural Fanatics Flag Football Classic. It's in Los Angeles, so make
An
sure to
employee
tune in
of
for the game.
who? Saudi Arabia? We're the one company that doesn't work for them.
Um, we definitely do not work for them, but yeah, draft props will certainly put in there. Did you? By the way, we got like 5 minutes left here. Did you watch the World Baseball Classic by any chance?
I didn't really. I just felt like the games were all at inconvenient times for me, but I
Yeah,
I, I obviously paid
right at
attention.
bedtime.
Yeah. I was getting like 8 million texts about like the Venezuelan batting order as I was like putting my son down. I'm like, what is going on? Why are people so into this? But I think, I mean, I respect that they've turned it into something out of nowhere. I think that that's really almost like inspiring. Like the NBA has tried this with the Cup. I think that other leagues are sort of trying to artificially just make these things come out of nowhere. But this one felt like it broke through. Like it feels like this really got people's
Okay.
attention.
So a couple things here. One is that other countries already have baseball as an established sport, which
Okay.
makes it, that makes them more passionate about the sport. It's hard to break in to South America when in the NBA because it's not an entrenched sport in South America, right? Like it's hard to break in there. It's hard to break into Asia, and they've done a better job in the NBA because they've had some players come from Asia, right? But like you don't have the baseball is filled with players from South America. Like in some of the best players in baseball are from countries outside the United States, Matt. So there's a passion level there for the sport that you certainly saw. And one thing I did love is I loved how much fun everyone but our country had playing this game. Our country was a bunch of stuck up guys who didn't seem like they had any fun playing baseball. So I think that's why they lost primarily. Like to not, they, they didn't show Cal Raleigh was our catcher at various times in Will Smith. And one of his teammates walked up to him before an at bat, tried to shake his hand, be like, "Hey, bud, what's up?" Wouldn't shake his hand. Like, what? Really?
Yeah.
Like, other teams are playing drums in the locker room, playing music before the game, and we bring in like a SEAL Team 6 guy to talk about nothing with sports and baseball. Like like there's a time and a place for those type of speakers, Matt. Before a big baseball game is not the time and place, in my opinion. As someone's been in those locker rooms before, if I'm not ready for a big football, a Super Bowl game, and in comes like a SEAL Team 6 guy, what is that? Like, there's a definitely time and place for those discussions to be had. Absolutely. They're great to have. I've been in those rooms before, but not before a big game, Matt. Like
Yeah.
other teams are having fun. They're having the time of their life. Like you saw Venezuela won, and like everyone went down to their knees. And I think one of the coolest moments was, I don't know if you saw this on social media, the closer for Venezuela. So I think a 1-2 count. They zoom in on him. He's getting set. He's crying already. Like he knew that pitch was going to be a strike, and he threw that ball like 101 miles an hour. The true velocity of that pitch. So I just love the passion other countries showed for the sport. Bryce Harper showed a little bit of it when he hit the home run. It was nice to see, but we just came up short, man. We couldn't hit. We had 4 runs in the last 18 innings. And the Aaron Judge memes and tweets were just unbelievably epic. And I don't think he's actually that bad of a hitter in the clutch. It's just we hold up, we hold those guys on such pedestals because they're such good players that if they do anything wrong in the postseason or in big games like this, we amplify that. I actually think his numbers are not bad in the postseason, but they're putting on James Harden, like James Harden's body, his face on Aaron Judge's body. It was brutal, man.
I think you could accuse America right now across the board, not to sort of go into our political corner, but like I don't I think we're just like our self-image is a little weird. Like we
You
should have a
think?
little bit more fun. Like I don't understand. I think you're right. Like having a SEAL Team 6 guy in there for like a made up baseball thing. Like yeah, like maybe it should be somebody who's wants to talk about how fun it is to represent your country in a big spot. Like it's, like
Or just put on some fucking music and enjoy yourself
yeah,
in the locker room.
exactly. Like
Like
just and it just feels like America's taken it like it's just everything's just
we're
so
trying.
intense and macho. It's like, can we have some fun? Like, what are we doing?
So there's this thing on the internet. I'm sure you haven't seen this, but like I don't know how I got to it. Probably because I've been following a lot of stuff of the war stuff. People have been posting photos of SEAL team operators and special forces operators in the '90s, Matt, and they're wearing like jeans and a t-shirt, and they're carrying like their M16. Like they're not jacked up, like yoked up dudes that we have now with tattoos everywhere. Like we just got to a point where like that's like the image now of what a tough guy is, right? And I'm not degrading, of course, any of the military. They're very tough and they're much tougher than me. But the fact is, like to your point, like that's what we think is like our image now of America, right? And
Yeah,
that's why we have a guy in the locker room who's talking to the team who's nothing to do with baseball
yeah.
the World Baseball Classic.
I
And
think yeah,
we're portraying that now on the national stage where we just like it's what it is. Like that's what we try to portray as like manly. I mean, this whole thing, like this is like this whole thing where the people, there's an image people want to have of what manliness means in our country. It's not all what you think it is.
Yeah. I think there seems to be groups of people like take the Super Bowl halftime show. Like I don't speak any Spanish,
Zero.
but it's sure seemed like they were having fun. Like sure
Yes.
seemed fun to listen to. Like, who cares? It's like, yeah, this is fun. Like bunch of like attractive people dancing around and the music sounds cool. Like, or does it have to be some other thing? You know what I mean? Like, can we just like have some fun once in a while? I think that we're turning into like that jack guy at the gym who wears the headphones and drops his weights really loud. And everyone's like, yeah, cool. That guy, like, he seems pretty jacked, but like he seems like he sucks. Like, do we have to be like that? Can we be cool? Like, I don't know. Should we try that?
it I'm with you, man. Like it's and you listen to some people in the administration talk about this war, and it's like again, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. I don't want to get into it again. It's just like it's like, come on, man, come on. That's not that's not the image that we are as a country. I don't think. Maybe that's what we are now, man. Maybe me and you are wrong. Maybe that's what we are now. We're just a jacked up gym bro. That's our country now. Um,
I hope not, man. Let's have some fun out there, man.
I
Life's
don't think it
short.
is, but I legit think we lost because we didn't have fun. Like I think that's the
What
reason
an
why we lost.
incredible take. That's the best take we've done on this show in quite a while. I hope people made it this far
I
because
think we
I think
lost
you're right.
because we didn't have fun.
It's hard to,
Our manager appeared did not take it, did not know the rules. Um, didn't appear to take it as seriously as he should, and we just didn't have fun. Other teams are having the most fun of their lives, man, and we just didn't have fun because we want to portray this image of like this, like again, the jacked up gym bro, man. Like that's what we want to be on the national stage. We want to be pounding beers in the locker room of the Olympic hockey team when you did not play in the game. Like
right.
that, like that,
Yeah, exactly.
like that. That is okay. Beyond the point of like, can you imagine James Comey doing the same thing, or like J. Edgar Hoover like pounding
James
beers with the
Comey.
Yankees, right? Like you'd be like, what is wrong with you? The fact
Yeah.
is, like that is what people think is cool. Like that image of I didn't play in this game. I have no connection to it whatsoever, but I'm going to go in the locker room and pound beers and take videos of myself doing it with like that image is what like some people think. I think a majority of the country thinks like is cool, Matt. And I don't think that that's like what we are as a country. Maybe we are. Maybe me and you are the wrong ones, man. It's certainly possible.
I don't think the majority of the country thought that was could. I think the
Hope not.
majority of the
Jeez.
company had the same country had the same reaction of like, sorry, who is that? Did he play in the game? Like, I do think that there's a fair amount of, I think most people probably thought that, but they aren't necessarily the loudest. But
I probably
yeah,
should
I
look
mean,
up if J. Edgar Hoover partied with the Yankees back in the day.
yeah, I think he was in there. J. Edgar Hoover. No, notoriously chill, fun dude. J. Edgar Hoover was there putting back champagne with Mickey Mantle for sure.
It's just like it just it, oh man. All right. Well, you have to go. I'm making how about this? My son's on spring break this week and it's we have nothing to do at all. So but we are his favorite food he said at school is bang bang shrimp. So,
Nice.
and we're gonna make it for lunch together, me and him. So that's what I'm gonna do while I watch college basketball. I think our thing froze, so I think we're done, Matt. We'll talk to you guys next week, everyone. Take care. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the college basketball.